The Boston Celtics walked into Philadelphia with confidence, but left with frustration. A 2-point defeat, 102-100, that exposed small cracks in a team that was supposed to look unstoppable. And tonight, we're breaking down the 4 biggest instant reactions from that loss. Stay with me until the end because what happened in the final seconds might tell us everything about where this team is really headed. Before we start, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the hype button so you don't miss any of our breaking Boston Celtics news. First off, the uniforms. I'll admit, I didn't expect to like the new City Edition jerseys. When those early leaks dropped back in June, the idea of a Celtics uniform without green sounded like heresy. Yet, seeing them on TV tonight, under the bright Philadelphia lights, they didn't look bad at all. Clean, modern, and surprisingly sharp. I still think a green outline would have tied it all together, but compared to last year's action green experiment, this design feels like redemption. A small win in a night full of frustration. Now to the real story. Jordan Walsh. For the 4th straight game, the young forward showed flashes of becoming something bigger. But early on, it looked like his Orlando momentum had vanished. He couldn't hit a shot, not even good ones taken in rhythm. Still, Walsh refused to fade. His defense was relentless. He chased Tyrese Maxey, one of the hottest scorers in the league right now, averaging 33 points per game, and made him work for every inch. Twice in the closing minutes, Walsh shut Maxey down, keeping Boston's hopes alive. And by the end, the rookie had found a rhythm again, finishing with 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 29 minutes off the bench. This wasn't luck. It was growth, and it might be the moment Jordan Walsh finally arrived. Then there's Derek White. When his shot falls, the Celtics look like a completely different team. Through the first 11 games, White's shooting had been a concern, the kind that shifts entire game plans. But tonight, that changed. Late in the third quarter, he caught fire. 2 tough threes, an 8-0 run by himself, and suddenly Boston had life again. 13 points in a single frame. Maybe that clutch 3 he hit against the Magic wasn't just another basket. Maybe it reignited his confidence. And if that's true, the Celtics might be unlocking one of their most dangerous weapons right when they need it most. Because when White scores, this team doesn't just compete. It dominates. But something felt off in Philadelphia. The first half was a disaster offensively. The Celtics shot just 28%, and it wasn't just bad execution. It looked strange. Same plays, same spacing, but nothing fell. Then, after halftime, everything flipped. The Celtics suddenly started hitting, while the Sixers went cold. Coincidence? Maybe. But it almost felt like one of those rims just wasn't right. Of course, there's no proof. Only the eye test, and every Celtics fan watching probably felt the same unease. The one player who didn't miss? Justin Edwards. The rookie looked fearless, knocking down shot after shot, including several daggers in the fourth quarter that buried Boston's comeback hopes. Without him, this might have been a completely different ending. And that's where the real concern begins. Because for all the positives, the Celtics still couldn't finish. They had the momentum, the stops, and the stars, yet they walked away empty-handed. So the question now is simple but urgent. Was this just another early season stumble, or did we just see the first warning sign that this team might not be as unbreakable as it looks? Hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you think. Did the Celtics just have an off night, or is there something deeper to worry about in Boston? Celtics took a painful hit on Tuesday night in Philadelphia. Not just on the scoreboard, but to the heart of their young rotation. Rookie guard Hugo Gonzalez went down late in the third quarter after landing awkwardly on a defender's foot, clutching his right ankle as teammates rushed to help. The 19-year-old was helped to the locker room, leaving Celtics fans holding their breath. Stay tuned, because what this moment means for Boston's future may be bigger than anyone expected. Gonzalez had played just under 6 minutes before the injury, showing flashes of the energy and defensive poise that earned him a spot in Joe Mazzulla's rotation. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, and plenty of hustle. Then, in one sudden landing, it all stopped. The Celtics first listed him as questionable to return, then upgraded him to available midway through the fourth quarter. But he never checked back in. It was the kind of cautious decision that says as much about Boston's long-term vision as it does about the player's pain tolerance. And it capped off what was already a frustrating night. The Celtics fell to the 76ers, 102-100, in yet another game that slipped away in the final moments. Jaylen Brown led all scorers with 24 points, Derek White and Peyton Pritchard made key plays, but small mistakes in the closing seconds told the story again. Boston is now 2 wins and 5 losses in games decided in the clutch this season. Numbers that sting for a team built on discipline and composure. What makes this injury sting even more is how well Gonzalez had been fitting in. The Spanish rookie has quietly become one of Boston's most reliable energy players, leading all first-year talents in defensive rating and earning the trust of his coach with grit and maturity. Through 9 games, he's averaged just over 3 points and 2 rebounds in about 14 minutes per game. Modest numbers, but his impact goes far beyond the box score. Gonzalez has already shown he can guard experienced players, make smart rotations, and inject life into the lineup when the starters falter. So when a young player like that goes down, even for a short stretch, it raises questions about timing and depth. The Celtics have relied on their bench while Jason Tatum continues his recovery from a torn Achilles tendon, and losing any piece of that puzzle can throw everything off balance. Boston has managed to stay competitive, but they've also shown how thin the line between control and collapse can be. According to early reports, the team will monitor Gonzalez's ankle closely before their next matchup. The initial signs appear positive, with no severe damage detected. But in a season already defined by close finishes and growing pressure, even minor injuries can turn into major concerns if not handled carefully. The Celtics are still searching for consistency, still trying to close games with authority, and still counting on young players like Gonzalez to bridge the gaps. And that's where the real question emerges. How many setbacks can this team endure before confidence starts to crack? Because as Boston fights through every possession, every injury, and every missed opportunity, the margin for error keeps shrinking. So the question is this. Is Hugo Gonzalez's injury just a small bump in the road, or is it the start of a bigger challenge that could test the Celtics' stability when it matters most? It happened again. Another close game. Another heartbreak. The Boston Celtics went toe-to-toe with the Philadelphia 76ers and still came up short, 102-100. The difference came down to a single possession, a single rebound, and a single mistake that Jaylen Brown was the first to own. But what he said after the game revealed more than frustration. It showed a player taking on the weight of an entire locker room. Stay with me, because what Brown admitted might be the turning point this team desperately needs. After the final buzzer, Brown didn't hide. He faced the cameras, faced the questions, and faced himself. "Poor performance by me on both sides of the ball," he said. "I let my guys down tonight." Strong words from the team's emotional leader, and they landed with force. Brown finished the game with 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. On paper, it looks like a solid night. But the truth was in the details. Missed rotations, slow starts, and a few possessions that slipped away when it mattered most. Boston's offense struggled out of the gate, shooting just 28% in the first half. Everything felt out of rhythm, hesitant, almost cautious. Then came the third quarter, and the Celtics came alive. Brown led the charge with 14 points, cutting through the defense with purpose and intensity. For a moment, it looked like the Celtics had finally found their killer instinct again. They outscored Philadelphia 36-20 in that stretch, flipping momentum completely. But it didn't last. When the final minutes arrived, the same pattern returned. Missed shots, missed assignments, missed opportunities. With one final chance to tie the game, Boston couldn't even get a clean look at the basket. Kelly Oubre Jr. slipped behind the defense for an easy putback layup that sealed it for the Sixers. It was the kind of breakdown that keeps coaches awake at night. And Brown didn't shy away from that reality. "I got caught ball watching," he admitted. "I just gotta get in there and get in the fight." This loss dropped the Celtics to 5 wins and 7 losses on the season, and 2 wins with 5 losses in clutch time situations. Games decided by 5 points or less with under 5 minutes to play. Those are the moments that define good teams from great ones, and right now, Boston is still learning which side they're on. It's easy to point to bad luck or missed calls, but Brown didn't do that. He pointed to himself. That accountability means something. It means leadership. It means urgency. And it sends a message to the rest of the locker room that the excuses are over. Because if the star is willing to take the blame, the rest have no choice but to respond. The Celtics still believe their record doesn't reflect their potential. They've been in nearly every game, one possession away from turning frustration into dominance. But those small mistakes, those little possessions Brown mentioned, are becoming habits. Habits that decide championships. So now, the question becomes impossible to ignore. Will this be the wake-up call that finally snaps the Celtics into focus, or will another close loss become just another story of wasted talent and missed chances? If you believe this team can still turn it around, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the hype button so you don't miss a single update. Because what happens next could decide not just the season, but the legacy of this entire roster.